Hello, Gatimu. Thank you so much for choosing to record today's episode. Yeah, today's masterclass with us. So first, I would introduce myself. I'm Loretta. I work on the comms team, the comms and growth team at Ingressive Capital. So first, I would say again, I'll say thank you to everybody watching this. This is Gatimu. We decided to start posting these masterclasses a while back. And since now YC has opened their new applications for the accelerator program, we thought that it would be great to have founders who have been to YC, come talk and share their experience as to how they got in, and also talk about their businesses so that founders trying to apply can know what to do, can know mistakes to avoid, so that we just up the numbers, because as of now, only 2% of African founders have been able to get into YC, even though YC has backed like 3,000 companies. So we're just, here at Ingressive looking at a way that we can up, the numbers. So yes, hi Anissa, thank you so much for joining us. So I'll get started. I'll do a quick introduction of Gatimu, and then I'll allow him to speak more about himself and the product that he's building. So first, I saw that you actually are a medical doctor. You studied medicine in the Netherlands. And now you're actually the co-founder and the chief product officer for Vendease, which is like an online place for African food service businesses. It was interesting to see that this company was backed by YC last year. And I loved how TechCrunch describes this. It describes it as the build, like you're building an Amazon Prime for restaurants in Africa. So I'll start with the first question of telling us a little bit more about your product and how you built it really.
Okay. Hey, it is a pleasure to be here. She's already done a better introduction than I could have done for myself. So thank you. So yeah, before I talk about our product, right? So I've been through YC twice. In 2019 and 2021, 19 as a co-founder at 54 Gene, a great biotech company, and obviously now as a co-founder at Vendease. And to talk about Vendease, so Vendease is very simple. What we're trying to build, we're building a marketplace that allows hotels, restaurants, lounges, anybody in the food industry to order their products directly from farmers and from food manufacturers. And what we discovered is that one, hotels, restaurants, all these people, what they would typically do to get their supplies is they would either send a member of staff to the markets, or they would rely on some, one guy who's supplying them these things. But the problems were abundant. One, you don't get any receipts. You don't know if you're being cheated. You don't have, any of that stuff. Two, you can't even trust the quality of the products. You can't trust the availability of the products, right? In the market today, something could be 100 naira, tomorrow it's 500. They're like, oh, that's just how it is. Also, you don't have anybody, helping you with that supply chain, bringing it, vetting it, making sure all these things. And finally, you don't have any access to capital in case you needed to expand, or you needed to save your capital to do other things before you made a bit of profit. So our platform, just like you said, in Amazon, for hospitality industry, essentially we have a mobile app, web and mobile, just like Amazon or like Jumia, where these restaurants can order anything that they want to run their restaurants and hotels. So beef, chicken, alcohol, tissue paper, whatever it is that can be consumed. And we deliver it to them within 24 hours. And we also help finance that product. So you can order now and pay later. Yep.
Wow. Yep. Amazing. Thank you so much. I feel like you've answered those questions, like what the product is about and how you built it. Why, like the why behind the product. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
I wanted to still ask more questions, like if you could still go in a bit in depth to like why,
why we chose to build this.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So this problem started so I don't know about you. I mean, most Nigerians are, to be fair, foodies or what we call drinkies, right? Not alcoholics drinkies, like they like a mocktail or a cocktail, right? But most Nigerians are foodies. And most of the time when you go to a restaurant, you have an idea. I mean, you've done your research, right? You have an idea of what you want. You know why you're going to this place. And imagine and then imagine you saved up, but you waited a long time with your friends and you finally got to this new restaurant in town. And for us, it was, this kind of experience. And you go there, you're like, oh, I've been dying to try a pork chops, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, sorry, it's not available. You're like, okay, all right. Okay, how about the steak? They're like, yeah, that is not available too. Eventually what I always do, tell me what's available, right? Since obviously I can't, it's not really my choice anymore. So it started to bother us, why aren't these things available, right? I'm willing to spend my hard-earned money. These things aren't cheap in Nigeria. And I'm willing to spend the money, but you're telling me it's not available. So we started doing a bit of research and we found that the entire supply chain was a mess. It was a mess in terms of getting the right products, getting at the right time, at the right quality, all of these things. And so we're like, you know what? I think we can kind of, this can't be that hard. Like somebody wants steak, let's get a cow, right? It's not that difficult. And we started, and we realized, holy shit. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can holy, wow. It's really, really, really difficult to do these things. And so as we tried to solve it for one person, or tried to solve that first problem, we realized there was another problem and another problem, another problem. So we started to, and so as we tried to solve it for one person, they will tell the other person, hey, these guys are doing these things for us. And they realize, okay, come solve it for us too. And realize that more and more people kept reaching out, even way past our capacity. So that's kind of when we knew that, okay, this could be something, we could be onto something that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. And we also went to other countries in Africa and they had the same problem. So we're like, this could be something interesting.
Yeah, it reminds me of last year Christmas or December. I was just like, wow, I have this amazing idea. I can draw up a piece and then make it. So I went to the market where they were selling fabric. I sourced for the fabric that I liked, but I didn't want to buy a lot of it. So I only bought like a few yards or something. And it was so annoying that after I made the prototype with the announcement, or everybody was like, wow, we want to order this. I go back and all the fabrics were no longer available. So
exactly.
I could just relate.
Exactly. Just the same thing for food. Exactly.
Amazing solution. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
And I like how you ended, because my next question was going to be, since you started, what has growth looked like for you? Because you said something about now you're expanding to other African countries. So what growth looked like really? I'll start on that before I throw in my next question.
Okay, so the number one thing when they start, so I tell people the only difference between, and it's probably not true, but I tell people the major difference between a startup and an SME, that's tech enabled, is, so we've removed tech, right? Obviously, is growth. How fast are you growing? Grow or die. Simple as that. So when we started January 2020. We had one customer. I think they were ordering about 250K worth of products from us. As of today, we are about 1,000, or actually a little bit over 1,000. And these people, we're talking about individual restaurants. So for example, we supply someone like Booker Hut. So we count Booker Hut as one, even though we supply all the branches, So we're talking about individual businesses. We supply over 1,000. And our numbers, I can give you ballparks, right? Where over $2 million, well over $2 million monthly in terms of our gross merchandise value. And we're in Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja. I think we just launched Benin. We're about to launch Benin. Our team is there, and we're probably going to start operations on Monday.
Wow.
So that's for Nigeria, and then we're also planning our Pan-African play as well.
So this is exciting. So what's the best thing that you say has happened since you got into YC? Like, would you say that getting into YC impacted your skill or your growth as it were? Well, generally, would you attribute this growth to getting into YC?
Yes. So I would say the single biggest So far, the single biggest positive influence in our business has been YC. Period. Yeah. There's no there's no stories about it. I tell anybody that I know that I can to go through YC. I've gone through it twice. I'll do it again. In fact, I'll do it so much that if YC said we will take the equity that we normally take and we will not give you any funding, I'll probably still do it.
Wow. So how impactful, so that's your experience, right? But for people watching the video, why should they take YC very seriously?
Okay, so here's what I'll say. Okay, that's a really, really good question. So the first thing is, so first of all, you want to build a world-class product and a world-class business. And sometimes, if you don't operate at a global level, you will always be a local champion. So the first thing YC does, it puts you in a batch of 150 to 300 global founders who are the best people at what they do at a similar stage of your business. And you are able to connect and rapport with them. And you're able to benchmark your product and your services to what the global standard is, because you're not building for Lagos, you're not building for Nigeria, you're not even building for Africa. Today, Flutterwave just raised $250 million and $3 billion valuation because they're building for the world. So you need, from the very beginning, YC helps you, remind you about that, and it puts you around these founders who are building that. So that's one. Two, network, right? You'll get to a point where you cannot grow alone. And you need to network with these people, right? People in your batch, first of all, who are going to be, some of them are going to end up being multi-billionaires, but also the same mind as you. Three, partnerships, right? So now you're looking to do something else in Cote d'Ivoire, London, San Francisco. You have people that have gone through this grind with you, who you can call up anytime, be like, hey, I'm in your city. I'm in London right now, and I just met one of our batchmates a couple of days ago. Four, you get access to the past, the YC's history. So when I say that, you get access to GB of Flutterwaves, you get access to what's his name? The guy at Brex, the guys at Airbnb. You can literally email them and be like, hey, my name is this, YC, X, Y, and Z year. Can I get help with X, Y, and Z? I remember we were trying to get a product that really wasn't, Africans couldn't access it at the time. And we just emailed the founder who went through YC and like, hey, we're in YC badge, we would like to do this. He emailed us by, literally, this guy is a founder of a $7 billion company. And he emails us back, he's like, you know what, we're willing to make an exception. Now we're using the product and we love it. And because of us, they're thinking about expanding to Africa. So you get access to all of that history, right? That's on one end. On the other end, YC also gives you access to so much credit. So people talk about the equity, the equity raise that they give you, right? Before it used to be 125 for 7%. Now, obviously, everybody knows it's changed slightly. But there's also almost $500,000 worth of free products that they give you. They give you hundreds of thousands of dollars of Amazon credit, Amplitude, all these things that you need to build the infrastructure of your business. You have access to all these things. And then finally, two more things. You get access to global investors. One of the things that used to happen in Africa was we only had access to African investors, people that would give you no shade, right? They've done their work, and I appreciate them, but they give you $100,000 and they want 20% of your company. You get access to people that give you $100,000 for 1% of your company, right? They give you access, they give you more capital for less to allow you to build and still benefit from the rewards when you eventually sell, IPO, etc. And then finally, you get access to YC's demo day, which one pitch gives you access to literally the best investors in the world. Forever, you can always put YC beside your name, and automatically you would typically get an audience with anybody from Tiger to Sequoia, SoftBank, these guys.
Wow, I feel like listening to this should just ginger the person or everybody watching this.
I think so too.
To get the application sorted, because even for me, I'm just thinking about it, and from the outside, I never really saw all of the things that you mentioned about getting into YC. I feel like even people that have gotten into YC should come back to re-listen to all of the things you shared, so they can see where they are not properly optimizing the opportunity that they've been given. Yeah, so very quickly, I was going to say, how did you get into YC? But I would rather say, what are the things you think you did that sort of made you outstanding? And I'm asking this question this way because you are a second time, you got into YC for the second time. So I'm sure you've learned from like what you did the first time, and yeah.
So I got into YC with two very different businesses. Like I said, biotech and now, supply chain or agri-tech.
Yeah.
And but there's one underlying thing that cut across both of them, and that is traction. Sometimes you're lucky enough to be building something that has never, truly never, ever been done before, like 54 gene for Africa at least. And it's very interesting. But most of the time you're not, right? You're building something that it has been built in another continent, or another country, right? The most important thing is traction. So I want to sort of spend the next 2 minutes and break down something to you. So every time an investor is looking at you, especially at the very early stage, where YC would typically be looking at you, what they're looking at is how much risk is there for me if I'm investing in this person. So I'll tell you what I mean. So for example, one, are they African? Yes, that's a risk, right? Nigeria is a crazy place. Any day they can decide to do whatever they want. Are they making revenue, right? If they're making revenue, that's the risk. Okay, this is a potential revenue making business. Is that revenue consistently growing? Again, this is a growing business. Has their product launched? Obviously, not a launch product versus a launch product. If it's launched, at least as a product. Does it have customers? Are people actually using it? Okay, people are using this product. Are people paying to use this product? Okay, that means there's value there. So you want to think of yourself when you're applying think of yourself as YC. How much can I de-risk their decision to invest in me? That's one. Then the second thing is YC also does this interesting thing where they say, now I think over 30,000 companies apply to YC every year. I think it's a 1% or less acceptance rate, better than Harvard. Harvard is like 9% or something. The question they always ask themselves is, there's a lot of people I want to invest into now. Can I wait to invest in this company next year? What that means is, yeah, this is a good company, right? I hope you're a good company if you're applying. Mm-hmm. Why should it be now? You also want to tell them, look, our product is so good that by the time you come back in 6 months, we would have either gotten investment by somebody else and will be too good for YC, or you need to also show them, one, de-risk all these things and then explain to them why this has to happen now. And then finally, they need to also understand that you will do this whether or not YC invests in you or not. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, the end of the road is YC, right? If we get into YC, then we'll continue this business. If not, then it dies. You have to let them know that, look, this is my life. I'm going to do this. I will be successful with or without you. You need to jump on me now because I will be successful.
All of this has to be communicated to your application, like what you committed.
In that tiny application that they restrict you severely, yes, you have to communicate all of that.
Oh, wow, interesting. And I'm going to ask, because I know you studied medicine, but then do you have any technical skills? Do you code? Do you design? If I'm a technical founder, what chances do I have, like, to get into YC? Are my chances slimmer?
If you're technical or if you're non-technical?
Non-technical.
Okay, non-technical. Okay. So yeah, I don't code. I don't design. I have a very basic understanding of both of them, so I can do a very awful design. I can, and I can write like a couple of lines to make something work. But no, I can't code or design. But what I tell people is, if you're a non-technical co-founder, your job is to, one, understand the business, understand what you're trying to achieve, understand what the problem is, and understand where you're going, and know how to communicate that very clearly to stakeholders, so investors, external stakeholders, and internal stakeholders, to your team, to your customers, right? Then two, you must have your superpower has to be research. The thing about building something that's new is it's always changing, right? So what you knew 6 months ago, it's obsolete in 6 months' time, exactly. So you need to be that guy who's always at the forefront, who's always reading, always learning. And 3, you need to be a super networker. So partnerships, business development, networking, that takes you a long way. So yeah, if you're not technical, you need to be able to do all the non-technical things very well so that your technical co-founder can, 1, see the value in you, and 2, trust you to handle that other side of the business.
Wow. Thank you. Very, very high level, but very simplified.
Okay.
So thank you so much for choosing to have this conversation. We're going to be wrapping up now. And I would just say that what last words would you give to founders who are currently building? Even people that don't believe that they are founders, like what word would you just say regarding entrepreneurship, this world of business, getting into YC, being a founder? What's the one word?
Let's make it a 1 sentence. If you're trying to get into YC, have a YC founder look at your application. It will do you a world of good.
Wow.
Thank
you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
So
I really appreciate your time. And reach out. Anyone that's watching this later on, you can reach out to me. I will do my best to make myself available.
Thank you so much. Very grateful for that. And I'm happy that we had this conversation. I'm happy that those watching this are also going to learn a lot. And I'm wishing everybody the best in the application. So yes, share this video as well. Don't forget that. Thank you so much. So I will be,
Thank you.
I'll be ending the recording now. Yeah.